Assalamualaikum. We from group 34 to present about smart legal contract. So this is my group member. That is Li Jiaqi, Li Wei Yi, Amira binti Muhammad Naim, Nafadullah Suada binti Ismail, and Siti Nur Akila binti Abdul Hamid. First, I will present about introduction. Smart legal is a legal contract in which some or all the application of the contract are defined and executed automatically by a computer program. This new contract is dubbed smart because it works significantly more than previous paper-based contract. Artificial intelligence is not mentioned. Smart legal contract there are two main factors. First factor is all or part of the contractual obligation under this contract will be performed automatically by the program. The second main factor is the contract is enforceable by law. Smart legal contract is related to the many use system as well as technology. So the smart legal contract are expected to become extensively employed, which may necessitate a shift in mentality. So I will pass to other presenter.
Amira binti Muhammad Naim, I will present the smart contract in the contract law. Legally binding contract must contain 4 key elements in order to be valid and enforceable under common law. Among the elements are acceptance, offer, consideration, and intention. Generally, if no adverse factor exists, such as misrepresentation, fraud, legality, or corruption, and all elements of the contract are fulfilled, the law will keep any promise. They are concerned about the enforceability of smart contracts because of their unique nature and the way they differ from traditional paper agreements. In general, a smart contract can be enforced as long as it follows the basic rules of the contract agreement. Contracts must comply with the conditions permitted by law and electronically signed legislation. They must not bind parties to terms that are unenforceable or impossible to enforce. And the smart contract must be able to accept electronic signature as other documents that cannot be signed electronically. Next is one of the difference between smart contract and smart legal contract. For the smart contract, legally binding agreement that is digital and able to link its term and performance of its obligation to external sources of data system and software. And the smart contract is a program of computer and code to execute the outcome of the occurrence of the triggering event.
My name is Li Jiaqi and my matrix number is AP190510. And now I'm going to discuss about law and regulatory of smart legal contract. Smart legal contract is a piece of computer code that is saved on a blockchain-based platform and is programmed to automatically carry out the terms of an agreement in whole or in part. It must have the following 4 primary characteristics, which are namely offer, acceptance, consideration, and the intention to create the legal relations. The law will enforce any promise so long as there are no complicating factors present, such as a misrepresentation, fraud, illegality, as well as all the requirements of the contract are satisfied. And these are the key provisions of the Contract Act. Next, I will talk about Digital Signature Act of 1997. A digital signature is defined in the Digital Signature Act as a transformation of a message using an asymmetric crypto system such that a person having the initial message and the signer's private key can accurately determine whether the transformation was created using the private key that corresponds to the signer's private key and whether the message had been altered since the transformations was made. According to the provisions of Section 62(1) of Digital Signature Act, a digital signature must be acknowledged in accordance with the Digital Signature Act under the following circumstances. First, that digital signature is verified by reference to the public key list in a valid certificate issued by a licensed certification authority. Next, that digital signature was affixed by the signer with the intention of signing the message. And the last one is the recipient has no knowledge or notice that the signer has pledged a duty as a subscriber or does not rightfully hold the private key used to affix the digital signature. Last is Electronic Commerce Act of 2006. Under section of Electronic Commerce Act, electronic signature is defined as any letter, character, number, sound, or other symbol or combination, therefore created in electronic form adopted by him as a signature. According to section of the Electronic Commerce Act, in order for an electronic signature to be recognized under the Electronic Commerce Act, it must first be attached to or logically associated with the electronic message. Secondly, adequately identify the person and accordingly indicate the person approval of the information to which the signature relates. Last is be as reliable as is appropriate for the purpose and circumstance in which it is required. That's all from me.
Now I'm going to talk about the challenges of smart legal contract. The first is the flexibility and reliability of the smart contract. In these days and age of copy-pasting, the majority of blockchain engineers do not have the necessity, degree, or experience and expertise which is required. The second is the information security risk. To implement new smart contracts or modify the functionality of existing ones, the participants' organizations or the administrator of the network will need a robust governance and change control procedures. The last is the contract enforcement problems. At this point in time, there is no legal precedence around the enforcement of a smart contract in place of a physical contract, nor are there any rules that regulate smart contract. Now I'm going to talk about the implications of smart legal contract. It can be applied on the trade finance application, and there will be a few steps taken only. First is to create purchase agreements. A buyer and a seller come to an understanding that the buyer will acquire products from the seller. An agreement to purchase is established and exchanged using a smart contract. The second is smart contract approval. Both the seller and the financier go through the share agreement, and after they are satisfied with the parties involved and the condition of the acquisition, they sign the contract using a digital signature. The third step, ship goods and generate invoice. The smart contract is then updated to reflect the shipping of the products when they have been dispatched by the seller. The shipper provides an acknowledgement of receipt and, in exchange, updates the contract by delivering a bill of lading. The last step, which is the complete payment, the payment process will begin after the buyers has digitally acknowledged that they have received the items and has received delivery. By making use of the acknowledgement that is sent, smart contracts are able to start, execute, and track payments, not just within the blockchain network, but also outside of it.
Next is conclusion. Smart legal contract is which obligations are defined and executed automatically by a computer program. The term smart contract was introduced by computer scientist and cryptographer Nick Szabo. Smart contract eliminate the need for party to trust each other, but instead trust in place is in the code. Hybrid smart contract are contract where some contractual obligation are writing in computer code and other in common language. The establish of a contract execution and whether a contract is favorable or not are all governed by the Contract Act 1950 in Malaysia. In Malaysia, among the Act created are Section 10(1), Section 2A, Section 2B, and Section 5(1). There are two different legal frameworks in Malaysia, which is the digital signature and electronic commerce. The smart contract has been given responsibility in managing and consumer from the danger or threat that come with this autonomy program. Contract enforcement is a problem to smart contract. This is so because there is no priority on the law around smart contract enforcement in replacing cycle contract. Hackers have also managed to break through this smart contract immunity. They are steps of the trade financing process in an open and reliable manner in reducing the possibility of fraud occurring by using blockchain. A small conclusion that can be made based on this study is this smart contract is very useful to carry out an agreement because this smart contract speed up the process of signing an agreement. That's all from us. Thank you.